Hey, I'm Victor Medina with the Medina Law Group. This is the video blog for the week of April 11th, 2016. Well, it happened. The Department of Labor introduced their new fiduciary rule, and let me tell you something, I'm not happy about it. Look, they came out and announced that they were going to now require a fiduciary standard for anyone that touched a retirement account, and all of the news media was saying that this was the best thing that happened to consumers. And I agree. I think we should have a fiduciary standard. But the rule that they introduced is so different than the one that they had proposed earlier. And all of these concessions came through from Wall Street lobbyists who had been pushing hard to make sure that they could keep doing what they were doing before. What am I talking about? Well, you people watched this video in record numbers last week and you shared it with a bunch of people, and I want you to keep watching this one too, because questions came in and said, well, what's your problem, Medina? Why is it you're so riled up about what they've been doing? They end up selling proprietary funds, which means that things that you can't get out of or that they can load with a bunch of fees. They can make recommendations on things that aren't in your best interest because it pays them more. And so when we get to this new rule, the reason I am so fired up about it is that almost all of the same stuff that they were doing before, they can still do. So now, in the rules it says that anyone that touches your retirement account is a fiduciary, and they have to act in your best interest. But then that's only for your retirement account. So the first problem with the rule is, if anyone's giving you advice on an account that's not your retirement account, that isn't your 401k or your IRA, then they don't have to act like a fiduciary. Well, what good is that? Shouldn't the person be a fiduciary throughout their entire engagement with you? All right, so it doesn't touch retirement accounts, but hey, a lot of people have retirement accounts. Maybe it's still a good thing. Well, the second reason why it's no good is that it doesn't start until January of 2018. And so for the next 2 years, you don't know if the person that you're talking to is really have your best interest, or they're just waiting until the rule actually takes effect. And it gets worse than that, because they are grandfathered in for all of their existing clients. So just by putting a disclosure up, they don't have to talk to anybody and say, hey, something's changed about the way I have a relationship with you. I used to have a relationship where I didn't have your best interest, but now I've got your best interest in mind. So we've got the grandfathering, we've got the 2018, we've got the fact that it's only to your retirement account. Those are all okay, right? Oh no, because then there's this 317-page addendum that came in there called the Best Interest Contract Exemption, or BICE. What is this? Well, it turns out that notwithstanding the fact that the rule says that they have to act like a fiduciary and recommend stuff that's only in your best interest, and that there are prohibited transactions where they can't get paid more for recommending one thing or the other, it turns out that they can. They can get outside of the rule that says that they can't favor one thing over another with the best interest contract exemption. So here's the way it would work. They would have a conversation with you and they'd be talking to you and say, I think you should buy this thing, well, whatever it is. And you would get to the end of it and they would give you a bunch of disclosures, and inside of those disclosures, they don't have to tell you this, right? But inside of those disclosures is the best interest contract exemption. And in that, and you're just signing and signing and signing, you're not reading these things, you want to get out of there. But you're signing and signing and signing, and inside one of the provisions it says, hey, listen, I'm about to get paid more for the thing that I'm recommending than I would over something else. And I promise you that it's in your best interest for that. I mean, come on, that's not really a fiduciary standard. If they can go ahead and not have to disclose and be transparent about their fees, then it turns out that it was just like business as usual. They can still recommend proprietary assets. They can still sell things that pay commissions to them. They can still share in any of the soft dollar monies that go in, the 12B1 charges and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just angry. You know, we had an opportunity to get real reform here, and it turns out that we don't. But worse than that, we have the illusion that we've got real reform. Because all the headlines are going to say that people are now fiduciaries, and that's the only thing that they're going to remember. And the lobbyists have built in for their big Wall Street clients a way out, a way to keep bilking people out of their money because they don't really know how it works. There's only one category of folks that are fiduciaries, right? Those are the people that say from the beginning to the end, I've got your best interest in mind and I am transparent about my commissions or how I get paid or any of that. You should know going in exactly how it works and where your money's going. And when it gets to that point in time, when people aren't allowed to make more money for recommending one thing over another, whether it comes in the form of a disclosure or a contract exemption or anything else, one thing comes through, and that's the best thing for you. So I'm just sitting here wondering, you know, how many people are actually going to get it? How many people will really understand that this reform, while it takes one step forward, right, has got all, it's like Swiss cheese, it's got all these holes in it. And I'm hoping that we can spread this information. I don't want anyone who's watching this video to be lulled into thinking that it's all fixed now. Because those big brokerage houses, the Merrill Lynch's, the Morgan Stanley's, and the UBS's, and that's just three of them, right? We're talking anyone who's a broker-dealer, they're still going to keep doing what they were doing before. They just build in their ways out. And everyone that I know, you know, the clients that I care about, they deserve more. Anyway, I'm riled up. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Share this one too. I'm Victor Medina, Medina Law Group.